Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you for a Transcendental Thursday episode on folk life. We are meeting after a long time. Today we're going to discuss, understand, appreciate the wonderful pastimes of Sri Ramachandra. Generally, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes are very simple and straightforward, but even those pastimes of Maryada Purushottam Sri Lord Ramachandra is misunderstood very badly. There's controversies never dying. Why does Lord perform such pastimes? It could have been very straightforward and simple so that people can understand more on this and the controversial questions which people by and large been asking since time immemorial. With the blessings of the Supreme Lord Sri Ramachandra and the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, let us deep dive into this controversies, understand the real essence of Ramana and the Acharya's message from the Ramayana. Here we go with the folded hands. Let us offer prayers. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When I was preparing myself for this class to understand what are the controversies which are happening based on Ramayana or Lord Ramachandra or Mother Sita, what are the questions which people ask so that they can understand the true nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A thought struck my mind which said, why does such pastimes has to be done by the Supreme Lord so that people are put into confusion, or by this such confusion there is a sect of people who hate the Lord or misunderstand the Lord, or they become enemies of the Lord, or they become atheistic temperament. Why? So I was just wondering, why does such things happen? Of course, you cannot control the Lord in that sense. What he wants to perform is Abhigna Savrat. He can perform the Leela the way he wants to do it. Answer to this question or dilemma is answered in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says there are two classes of men, Asura and Deva. These two classes of people eternally exist. So, Asuras are those people who will come up with this so-called questions which question the integrity, the intention and the purpose of Lord's Leelas. Just like the philosophies like Hum sab Bhagavan hai, tum bhi Bhagavan ho. There's no requirement of looking for God. You are God, everyone is God. Or the scientific temperament, everything has happened because of chance, or there's no person or creator involved behind the creation. It's all stemming from this fundamental understanding, the atheistic temperament. And there are Suras, those who are believers of the Almighty Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. So these two classes of people will always exist. You cannot have a material world where everyone is believer of God, everyone follows God's instruction and it becomes Vaikuntha. That's never going to happen. This world is designed for such classes of people who will question the existence, who are atheistic in temperament, who are Naradama, Maya Pratagnana, lowest of mankind. They are put in this place and their suffering continues. I put them in the hellish condition of life. Krishna himself says in the Gita. And they are given a chance by the mercy of the Lord and the Acharyas to understand the purpose and goal of life when they go through the sufferings. Because normally people don't surrender to the Supreme Lord when everything is common, normal and happening nicely. And these three modes and the three miseries and the four difficulties inflicted upon them eventually make them ponder, why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? Who is God? What happens after death? And they eventually surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this was one thing which was coming to my mind. And another thing which is very common, especially one so-called politician, he said Lord Rama also ate meat. He consumed non-veg. Mother Sita wanted the deer to be hunted so that she can consume meat. Or it is okay for the Kshatriyas to do so. Lord Ramachandra happened to become Kshatriyas. And even in the forest, if there's no food available, you can have this meat. So many questions. And even there was a movie which was banned in OTT because of this understanding, because hurting the sentiments of crores of Hindus. Did Rama actually ate meat? How do you understand this? Or even the question which I answered before. Lord has to be understood by the Lord himself, where he proclaims himself in the Bhagavad Gita about his position, his relationship with his devotees, his creation. He is directly speaking. Or even in the Ramayana through scriptures. But most of the people who are asking these questions or having these doubts never approach a bona fide scripture or never approach a bona fide parampara to understand these things. Hence, they get misled. And we also have this lacuna or shortcoming that if I am like this, Lord also would be like this. Atmavad manyate jagat. So they understand the Lord through their prism. That is a mistake. That's a fallacy. That is shortcoming. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, I accept things which is offered with love and devotion. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya pranashyati. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. It is not mentioned. It is the same Rama who is in the form of Krishna asking these four things. If you offer, I'll accept this. And we consume whatever is offered to Krishna as Yagnashashta, as Prasada. So there's no doubt that Ram consumed meat. He never consumed meat. 100%. Now, because he's clearly telling in the form of Krishna that this is the four things which I consume. If devotees offer with me, how can he consume meat? Again, another misunderstanding is you don't get it from parampara. Second thing is, in Sanskrit, to understand the basic structure of Sanskrit, to understand the grammatical formation on the meter and the aphorisms of Sanskrit language, it takes minimum 11 years of hardcore study in the premier universities, either in Varanasi or in Udupi or in Kashmir or in Nadia. First of all, ask them who attend, do you know Sanskrit? Have you studied all these things? And even if you studied, you cannot comment on the Vedic literatures. That is the prerogative of a bona fide acharya stemming from an authorized parampara. Say, for example, even Swami Prabhupada says, Atma has a multiple meanings. Sanskrit, each word has 11 contexts, 11 meanings put together. Atma means intelligence, Atma means body, Atma means mind, Atma means soul, Atma means a concept. Like that, there are many, many meanings. What is told in the previous verse, what is talked in the current verse, what is talked in the next verse. Based on the context, on the intention, based on the insider information which acharyas know, they give it the commentary. The word is misunderstood. Whatever the people generally are quoting is not the right meaning or understanding of the word mamsa in that particular context. Okay, this is one thing which I wanted to understand. Of course, why Lord is the creator of everything. When as Mahavishnu, ya karnarnava jale bhajatisma yoga nidra mananta jagadanda sara omagupaha adara shakti mavalambya param samurtim govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. When he inhales the entire cosmos, whether you call it as non-veg, veg, matter, antimatter, everything in existence gets consumed by the Lord. So we attribute our limitation to the Lord. Lord is beyond our understanding. This is one such controversies which I want to understand, want to correct, and want to help you folks to understand this. And another thing which generally people accuse Lord Ramachandra as, when he was asked to go to the forest for 14 years. He gave importance to his family's instruction, his father's instructions. He left his apparent Raja Dharma. He didn't care for his citizens. He just left Ayodhya, abandoning his citizens, just because he wanted to keep the promise given to his father. Or even because his father asked him to do so, or he wanted to make sure that his father keeps his promise given to his wife. This is one accusation which generally have. Of course, answer to this question is Lord Ramachandra never forsake his citizens. He fulfilled the desires of Keki also in that sense. Bharata was a king in the absence of Lord Ramachandra. He performed the activities of a king without being on the throne. In that, what is the place which he resides? Bharata, Nandigram. He was there. If I'm correct, if I remember if I trust my memory, was residing there on a bare floor, having tree barks, eating barley boiled in cow urine, expecting his brother to come back. But the citizens were not forbidden, or the citizens were not forsaken. Whatever the requirement of the citizen, whatever the rule of the law should happen, the kingdom should be maintained, everything was done properly by King Bharata. And it is a word of the king. And there's a saying in Hindi, Raghukul ki reet sada chali aaye. Raghukul ki reet sada. Raghu is a king who comes in on the dynasty of Ikshvaku. Reet sada chali aaye, pran jaye par vachana na jaye. These days people बहुत फेंकते हैं and कुछ ना कुछ बोलते रहते हैं, but they don't commit to their own words. They flip. But king should not be like that. If you have given a word, he'll keep the word. And keeping this word, Lord has performed all his activities. There are so many internal reasons why he had to keep this promise. One, the Lord's, the kings who was from Ikshvaku dynasty, starting from Manu himself, he's kept proper. When he kept his promise, obliged to the words of Dasharatha, Lord performed this beautiful pastime of Ramayana. There were so many devotees eagerly waiting for the Lord to come. If that would not have happened, the 14 years of exile, so many things happened, and later so many things happened, all the devotees got a chance to engage in devotional service. Ravana, who was become a burden to the whole mankind, was killed. Vibhishana, again devotee, got a chance. Angada got a chance. Sugriva got a chance. Mother Sita got a chance to serve the Lord. And her character, her trait, her quality was glorified as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramachandra. Hanuman, for example. See, by just following this order of his father, how many things he achieved. When the Lord performs an activity, there are multiple things which gets performed. He's just not one thing which is performing. So many things get executed automatically. So the answer to this question is like this. Another understanding would be the most complex thing which is happening these days. How come the Lord killed a shudra? So that means this casteism was deep ingrained even in those days. The Shudra wanted to perform tapasya, he wanted to achieve something bigger, and the Lord went and chopped his head, he killed him. So Lord Ramachandra is against Dalits, against the oppressed, against the lower caste. This is another accusation. Generally, people don't read Ramayana, especially Valmiki Ramayana. So we should hear from it, original, authentic Valmiki Ramayana. There are many editions of Ramayana. None of them are as authentic, as original, as sacred, as perfect, as paramparic as Valmiki Ramayana. One should adhere to Valmiki Ramayana if you want to understand Ramayana from Valmiki. That is the original Ramayana. If you read that, there's a mention. There was an instance why this happened. A Brahmana comes to Lord Ramachandra's court and he accuses, what kind of a ruler are you? What kind of a king are you? Then Ramachandra asked, what happened? What went wrong? How can a son die when his father is still alive? That is against the nature. That is against the laws. If that is happening, my son passed away in front of me. I am alive. Father is alive, but son is not alive. That means either I have done a papa, or you are not ruling the kingdom properly, or there is some sin involved in this country, in this kingdom. As far as I am concerned, I am a Brahmana, I am faithfully following all the scriptures. I don't see, even in the past or in the current life, I have done any sin. So I am not responsible for this. Now, either you or in your kingdom, something is happening. So it was an accusation against the king and his rule and his kingdom by a Brahmana, who's supposed to be the guiding principles of Kshatriyas to rule. So Ramachandra figured out, and he went to this person. What is his name? Shambhuka. And he asked him. He was performing a lot of severe tapasya. What was his intention? He had to perform this tapasya so that he can become powerful and one day occupy the throne of Lord Shiva. Become husband of Mother Parvati. Attain heavenly abodes, heavenly pleasures. That was his intention. Lord Ramachandra knew his bad intention, knew his cunning nature. Performing tapasya is okay, reading Vedic literatures is okay, but what is the purpose and intent behind doing all these things? Just like Dronacharya forbid Ekalavya because he knew the intent and the purpose behind Ekalavya's learning the art. On the contrary, the same Brahmana Dronacharya, when his own would-be killer approached him saying that, please teach me, I am Drushtadumna's son, Drupada's son Drushtadumna, born to kill you. He never refused to give him the knowledge of archery. He taught him everything because he could understand, I must do my duty, death anyways will come. Likewise, Lord Ramachandra could understand the intention behind this particular person. What was his intention? He wanted to become the consort of Mother Parvati. A short video, in detail, is mentioned by Mahavishnu Prabhu here. You can watch, I can give the link in the description. More detail he mentions. So this is the answer for that. In fact, on the contrary, Lord Ramachandra ate the Juta bears of Shabari. Who is Shabari? A tribal woman. He accepted the service rendered by Nishada. He was Panchama, lesser than a shudra. He accepted services from monkeys, not even human being, animals. He accepted services from Rakshasa, the brother of Ravana, Vibhishana. Lord sees only his intention, not his qualification. His character is important, not the prowess. You may be competent, but Lord is interested in your heart and character. So hopefully I could answer this question which actually put across. For more details, you can refer a wonderful video made by Hare Krishna Movement, Hyderabad, Golden Temple by Mahavishnu Prabhu. Yeah. Next, most important question which people generally ask. Vali. Why did Lord Ramachandra, being a Kshatriya, being a hero, had to kill Vali by shooting arrows, standing behind a tree, like a coward, he killed Vali? What kind of a hero he is? What kind of a Kshatriya he is? What kind of a god he is? He has to hide to kill Bali. That means he's not powerful, he's cheater. And they also go on to say that because he had hid himself to kill Bali like that, in his next appearance or his next life as Krishna, he had to be killed by a hunter hiding. In the 12th canto, when this is described, where Jara, that the hunter who killed, apparently so-called, threw the arrows at Krishna, he thought, the hunter, that it was a deer, but it was the Lord's lotus feet. And when he understood that it was Lord's lotus feet, he came and he approached and he begged forgiveness for his unknowing act. The Lord said, it was my desire, it was my will, it was my plan that you would do so. Second, not only that, he made sure that particular hunter was liberated and went back to Vaikuntha. How can the Lord do so? How can an ordinary person who are bound by material laws do so? So Lord is beyond karma. Laws of karma doesn't act upon the Lord. In fact, is the lawmaker and lawbreaker, and is above the law. No laws is applicable onto him. Just for your clarification. Coming back to Balis Vad. For that also you should read Valmiki Ramayana. Devotees who shared this with me were telling there are conversation between Bali and Ramachandra when he was shot. He went on to ask his question, the questions what generally people have. The same questions are asked by Bali also. What did Bali ask? My father and your father were friends. There were no any inimical in that. Still you had to kill me. Why did you kill so? And in fact, if you wanted to have help to get your wife back, you should have asked me. You know how easily, without any effort, I got hold of Ramana and made him drink waters of 3 oceans. Why did you go and approach Sugriva? And that too, you are an emperor, you are a Kshatriya. Why you have to hide behind a tree and kill me? So many questions he asked. Ramachandra patiently heard all these arguments asked by Bali. And he patiently answered. He gave primarily 3 reasons. And my wife was telling not to go because just before the night only I severely bet Sugriva, and again he has come. There should be some conspiracy. I didn't heed to the words of my wife. I still came. My karma. So many things he was expressing while he's on his deathbed. And Lord Ramachandra gave 3 reasons. One of the reasons, Dharmo Rakshito Rakshitaha. Your brother would have performed some mistake. You would have gone back. But still, he is your younger brother. He should be treated as your son. When he came and he apologized for his mistake, you should have accepted him. On the contrary, you forbade him. You abandoned him. That is one. Second thing is, you are an animal. You are an animal. And there is nothing wrong in killing an animal sitting behind, hiding behind. समझ में आ रहा है? And you're cruel as an animal. How cruel? The wife of the brother is treated as daughter. When he was abandoned, you enjoyed his wife. Animals don't have regulations like this. And third, why I had to do this? Because Brahmaji had given one Vardhan, one benediction to Bali, because of which he became so powerful that anyone who combats him in a fight, 50% of his power goes to him. Then how anyone can kill him? To keep the word of Brahmaji, I need not have to keep his maintain his word, but he's a devotee of mine. Hence, I have to keep his word. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Name Bhakta Pranashati. Oh, Arjuna, declared to this whole world, but my devotees will never be vanquished. He spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita, but this verse he wants to Arjuna to speak, because sometimes the Lord may break his promise, but he'll never make his devotees' promise or benediction go in vain. That's why we should surrender to a pure devotee. That's what when we surrender to a pure devotee, follow his instruction, a bona fide spiritual master, Srilaprabhupada, when we chant 16 rounds and follow 4 principles, he promises that I'll take you back home, back to garnered. If we follow that, 16 rounds and 4 regulations. Rest assured, even Krishna cannot stop us from going back home, back to Bharat, because it is Prabhupada's promise to take us back home, back to Bharat. Hence, on this auspicious occasion when the whole world is witnessing the grand consecration ceremony of Ram, Lalla, Virajman in Ayodhya, we should take a vow. We should take a promise that I'll commit myself to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and follow the 4 regulative principles. And this would be the greatest tribute what you can give it to Lord Ramachandra on this auspicious occasion on his consecration, which is going to appear after 500 years of struggle. So this is one thing which I wanted to clarify, which is very commonly, normally asked. And regarding Agni Pariksha, regarding Mother Sita being very faithful and chaste, why she was put into so much difficulties, an elaborate video with all the reasons and evidences and shastric evidences and it's been made on Frankly Speaking with Svyakta Prabhu. I would implore you, request you, please click on to this link and watch this complete episode, at least half of it, where he exclusively speaks about the role of Mother Sita, how he was put into difficulty and what was the reason for all these things. And first and foremost, just to give it in short, like Asifa, खेला सूरी वाली, उसने पूछा था आपकी भगवान इतने अपनी पत्नी को बचा नहीं सकते. Even that question is also answered in that. But just to give a brief understanding, Mother Sita was not asked to perform Agni Pariksha with the Lord. Did you get this? Watch this video once again. And it was Kaikeyi who asked, again a woman, who asked Lord Ramachandra to go. It was Mother Sita was not asked to go to forest. And in Agni Pariksha, it was not Mother Sita who was asked to do. It was Vedavati. Vedavati was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu who was performing tapasya to have him, Supreme Lord, as her consort. But she was exceptionally beautiful. The evil eyes of Ramana fell on her and he shamelessly tried to force himself on Vedavati. Vedavati, being a chaste, devoted devotee of Lord Vishnu, didn't want to this forceful thing done by Ramana. She cursed Ramana, saying that a woman will be the cause of your death. And there are many curses given to Ramana by many women, even Ramba. If you force yourself into any woman, you will be busting your head, you will be killed. People glorify Ravana, saying that बंदे ने हाथ नहीं लगाया, बंदे ने इज्जत पूर्वक रखा. होना तो रावण जैसे ब्रदर होना चाहिए जो अपनी बहन के लिए कुछ भी कर सके, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, है ना. एक्चुअली इज्जत इसलिए दिया, अगर इज्जत नहीं देता वो मर जाता. डरा हुआ आदमी था वो रावण. समझ में आ रहा है? And she incarnated as Mother Sita and became part of the Rama Leela, and it was she who entered the Agni Pariksha. And before that Agni Pariksha, before even Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita, it was Mother Sita was taken into shelter. It was given the shelter of Agni Dev, and when the Agni Pariksha took, the Vedavati was finished, and Mother Sita was brought back to Agni. And to give the proof how Mother Sita was chaste and sincere and dedicated, and the nature of Mother Sita. And further asking question, why she was forbidden when she was carrying. Again, it's all, there are two contexts. One is Raja Dharma and is Pati Dharma. So when there are two dharmas, when there is moral crisis, this is wrong, this is right. So you will go with the right. When this ethical crisis, both are right. What has to be done? Because just like Arjuna was in ethical crisis, he has to fight because he deserves the kingdom, and the atrocities done by the Kshatriyas, done by Kauravas are there evident. But he had to fight with his own kinsmen. He had to kill his own teacher. He has to kill his own cousin brothers. So he was in a dilemma. So then you require the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master in the form of Krishna for Arjuna. Here he was guided, and she was not forbidden. She was taken by Lakshmana and kept under the shelter of Vasishta Muni. Valmiki Rishi. And she also had a desire to spend. And the higher concept is, when the lover and the beloved are together, there is some enjoyment, there's some pleasure, but they are separated, there's a pain. But in the spiritual realm, it's called Vipralamba Rasa. Lord and Mother Sita and Lord Ramachandra are all eternally together. But when they are separated, the intensity of their meeting increases. The Lord wants to express that, experience that Vipralamba Rasa. That's why they had to perform these leelas. This particular video of Suyakta Narasimha Prabhu, frankly speaking, elaborately discusses about this. Instead of me explaining more about it, I would implore and request all of you to please click on this link and watch the entire episode. You would love to watch this. It's a wonderful episode. So please do watch it. Okay, these are the few things which I wanted to share. Anything which I missed out? Yes, almost most of the things I've covered. And another thing is, first of all, Bhagwan Ram Bhagwani nahi hai. This is they attack that the root. Agar Bhagwani nahi hai, then there's no need of worshipping him or following his instruction, etc., etc. And for that, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Manusham tanumashita modo navi janati. When I appear as a human being, people misunderstand to be one among them, because fools deride me. Bhagwan ka word hai, moodo na bhi janati. Fools deride me. Fools. समझते fools को English. Deride me when I appear in the human form of life. तो उनकी बनती है, उनको करने तो क्या दिक्कत है? भगवान खुद बोलते हैं गीता में 16 चैप्टर में, असुर और असुर दोनों रहेंगे ही, तो उनके लिए वो उनका काम है, ड्यूटी है ऐसी, तो रहेंगे, डोंट वरी. एंड इवन द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ द सेजेस, देवतास, don't understand me, and want to speak of Chotku people of Kali Yuga. How will they understand anyways? Forget them, don't worry about it. So to understand Krishna, to understand Rama, to understand his pastimes, to understand his concert, Mother Sita or Srimati Radharani, you have to understand through him. He has to explain who is he, what is he and what is the relationship. And for that Krishna says, Tad Vidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. Surrendered. Ask relevant question, do seva, then Tattvadarshi, like Prabhupada, like Valmiki Acharya, like Veda Vyasa will be able to give you the right knowledge. But हमको knowledge नहीं, हमको पढ़ना नहीं आता, अज्ञान है, then we'll make all such mistakes and aparat and suffer. That's why everyone is reading their own literatures. But be born in India, born in where Lord Ramachandra appeared, born in the land of where Krishna appeared, born in the land where all the great acharyas appeared, born in the land of Ramayana and Mahabharata. We don't read these literatures. How can we understand things as they are? If you get a job, to get a job today, you have to go through 10th and 12th and engineering. Then even then you get the job. Then you have to upgrade your knowledge to maintain your kapda, to maintain your lifestyle, kapda, makan and rozgar and data. You have to work so hard and to understand the Supreme Personality of God, His Leela with His concert, His dearmost devotees. How is it possible? Just by watching a serial, watching a movie, you'll understand, or one class you'll understand. No rigorous study of Vedic literatures and the pleasing of a bona fide spiritual master coming in a parampara is important. Otherwise, you'll never understand. So hence, it's important for all of us to understand through bona fide spiritual master and bona fide scriptures. So I implore all the folks, please put your heart and soul to read Swami Prabhupada's books. The elaborate Ramayana is mentioned in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the aspect of Agni Pariksha and Mother Sita's chastities is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We don't read, we don't understand. So ignorance is the cause of all these things. Hence, you have to have knowledge from a bona fide source. And Krishna in many places says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vedi tatvata tiktva deham punarva janmane. In the Gita 4.9, he says, anyone who understands my birth and my transcendental activities upon quitting this body will never take birth again in this material world. Will never take birth again in this material world. So that is the importance and power of knowing Krishna's birth and activities. But you have to do tattvataha. Tattvata means you have to go to tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi is a bona fide spiritual master coming from a bona fide parampara like Srila Prabhupada. Take his instruction, follow his instructions and do it.